Okay, we are live. So I have two things that I was going to do tonight. One of two things. I was either going to hang out and chat, see who all's around, or play a little Call of Duty. One of the things that I had for a topic for tonight was die-cast Jada 1/24th scale cars. And I have been coming up with a list of some suggestions for Jada as to some things that I think that they should put out, because it seems like they are putting out some stuff that I'm personally not interested in, some rubbish. So let's see here. It's been so long since I have done this. I'm not sure if I recall how to even. Well, let's see if this is how you do it. Oops. Okay. I don't know if that's a link that you can click on to jump in if you want to, or it's been a while since I have done a yard string live stream. So, but anyway, so yeah, that's mess with my computer here trying to. Okay, let's. Okay. Yeah, let me see about sharing a screen. Share a screen. Let's go with screen one, share. Okay, here we go. Now let's come over here while we're waiting for someone else to jump in. And all right. Go with good old Google. Sounds like there's some hoodlums outside. Huh. Good heavens. Apparently. Oh, there's a lot of notifications. Rock with a grate. I don't know if all those notifications are dinging and whatnot. And all right, let's see here. Okay. 1/24. All right, so let's look for images. So, okay, let's look at this guy here. They have a Roadrunner. And that's, I mean, it's kind of cool. I don't think I've seen this one before, so I don't know if this one's like super old or if this one's like a brand new one. But I look at this and I'm like, I like the fact that it's got the Roadrunner on the side of the car. I like the fact that they used the 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner for the diecast car in the box set, but the Roadrunner doesn't drive a car. So to me, I'm like, that was the best that you had. So we got let's look at the Cookie Monster here, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's. I don't know that Cookie Monster ever drove a vehicle, um, but I'm like, really, why? That's what I mean. Oh, and this one here, the Turtles wagon here. I mean, like they just. I do like the the van that they picked for that, but I feel like, if you're already paying for the licensing, why are you not putting the party wagon in this set? I mean, like, and they didn't have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo on the outside of their party wagon. I mean, that was the name of the show, not the name of their like crime fighting ordeal. So, like, that was kind of a misstep there. I do have that one, and I like the character for it, but just looking at some of these, and I just find myself just like scratching my head saying, why in the world are they putting some of these out? I saw one that I don't see it here, but there was one where there's a Hispanic hot sauce truck with a mariachi or whatever, and I'm like, an odd choice. They have Lucky the Leprechaun, um, with a box of cereal. That's an odd choice. I'm not seeing those. I do appreciate the um, Fast and the Furious with the characters here. I like that they add the little character that stands next to the car in the box set. I really like that. I was hoping at some point that they would do a DeLorean with Doc or Doc and Marty, and that would be cool. Now, it's not unprecedented for them to do two characters uh, with one set because they do have the Mystery Machine, and that comes with two characters. So, I really like. I mean, like you can't. I mean, um, they can't claim like, well, we're never going to put two characters in one set. They could put Emmett Brown and um, Marty McFly figures in with the Time Machine, and that would be cool. But I see some of these. I see some of them that are the Iron Man with a car, and Spider Man with a car, Venom with a car, uh, Joker with a car, Harley Quinn with a car, Catwoman with a car. I'm like, if there was an iconic vehicle for Joker or an iconic vehicle for Venom, or I mean, like Batman and the Batmobile, that works. That works great. But I feel like you're punching out figures and then just sticking them with a random car that is going to look cool for the box set. And I'm like, there are so many movie classic iconic movie cars that would be great in a box set. And so I started thinking about like, well, which ones would I be excited to find if I could suggest that they make some. My mouse is not cooperating with me here. And this one here too. I mean, like Groot in a minibus. They're really pushing these minibuses. Apparently, I did not click on the right thing there. But I don't know. Just seems like there's a lot of examples of odd choices that they just grab some random vinyl figure and then put them with a car. The Bumblebee and Charlie, that's okay. I mean, like I feel like, you know, I probably would have preferred to have seen the Sam Witwicky with the 70s Camaro or the newer Camaro. Probably the 70s Rusty Camaro would have been something I would have been more interested in. Let's see here. The green Power Ranger with a sports car, that's kind of an interesting choice. The red Power Ranger. But like I said, there's so many of them that they have released that I've just been kind of like, why in the world are you releasing that figure with that random car when there are so many good examples? And so an example of some good examples would be, let's stop that screen. All right, so and I'm interested in seeing if anybody has any suggestions for what they could put out. But here's the ones that I came up with. I kind of started at the top and then started working in some empty slots and whatnot. Oh, we got CM Retro Gaming. Add him to the stream. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, guy? How you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. How you been?
I've been faring all right. Have you been listening to me ramble here for a bit, or you been stepped away and come back?
I ran out and I heard I want to hear what you guys have to think, but I sort of had kind of a big day today, so I missed it. So if you could, you could recap it real quick, that would be great.
So I was talking about all of the Jada 1/24th scale, the box sets that like Fast and Furious with like the orange car, and then the Brian O'Connor figure, the Batmobile and the Batman figure, and all of the different offerings that they've had, and then just some of these really oddball choices that they've thrown out there, like Lucky the Leprechaun from Lucky Charms and some car, and then they've had like Iron Man with some sports car and Spider-Man with some sports car. And I'm like, you know, there's so many iconic like movie vehicles that you could put a character with that would be like a better choice. I've seen like what are those Hispanic guys in the sombrero that they put on the bottles of the hot sauce, the mariachis or whatever, and they have one of those with an old like 1950s pickup truck, and I'm like, is there really a demand for that? I mean, for that guy with a bottle of hot sauce in a pickup truck? I mean, it just seemed like so I was putting together a list of all of the different things that I as a collector would just like lose my mind to see. Like if you saw like Roger Rabbit with that animated car, a little Roger Rabbit character next to the animated car, or the Home Alone van that Harry and Marv drive around. That would be cool to see. Home Improvement, Tim Allen standing next to his lawnmower or his sports car. Yeah, either way.
Didn't he build a hot rod or something on that show?
He built a hot rod. Then he built a lawnmower with an Apache helicopter engine attached to the lawnmower. The A-Team van with Mr. T standing next to it. RoboCop with his police cruiser. Jurassic Park, the Jeep with any one of the characters from the movie. The Big Lebowski with his old beat up Ford, or Walter with his white van from his security which I think I watched that movie 100 times and I never caught that Walter Solchek runs a security business. But
Yeah.
when he picks it, when the dude picks him up, he's standing Walter Solchek security, and I was like, how did I miss that all those times?
Are you talking about like the little 3-packs that are like Micro Machine size? Or are you talking about the
No,
ones that came out
yeah,
that are like,
the bigger
like
ones.
big and they have a figure? Okay. So
That
quick
are,
story about that. It's funny that you're talking about that. Is I went Micro Machine hunting this week because the Series 5 World Packs are out, and I stopped at my local Meijer, which is where you get them, and I saw some of those, and they had a Macho Man Randy Savage Ford Bronco with a Macho Man Randy Savage figure, and I'm like, listen, I'm not into these figures. I'll just take the car. You know what I mean? Like, give me something cool. But if you remember, like in the WWF WCW days, well, prior to the NWO stuff, there used to be an Undertaker van that they would travel around, and they had a huge like inflatable floaty of the Undertaker. And then WWE is ripe for that kind of stuff, because think of all like the cars that Triple H comes to the ring in with his trikes. In the WCW days, they had the Hulk Hogan and the Giant. They had that monster truck thing where they welded them together and they were on the roof. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of possibilities for that for sure. I guess if I had to just throw one out off the top of my head, man, the National Lampoon's Rambler,
yeah,
with the characters. But speaking of Big Lebowski, and I love that movie, you had Jeff Lebowski's car and Walter's car. That's why I asked about the 3-pack, because the third car on that set could be Bunny's car that she crashes at the end of the movie into the fountain, the red sports car,
right, or the Corvette that Walter beats up.
Yeah,
That would be a great one. And honestly, that would be awesome too if they gave you a chase variant where one of the cars that is all beat up from Walter beating it up in front of the kid's house. But they could do like let's see here. You remember Mystery Men? That movie? They could do like one of those characters with the armored vehicle. They did a turtle van, but they did like a VW bus, and then just put Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the side, and then had one of the turtles next to it. And I was like, that kind of looks like the party wagon. And then Hot Wheels made the party wagon, and I was like, well, if you licensed turtles, why didn't you just go the rest of the way and make the party wagon? Because that would have been awesome.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw the new Masters of the Universe. I'm about 3 or 4 episodes into it on Netflix, but Masters of the Universe is one of those franchises that always lends itself to these sort of awkward vehicles where you've got like the Rotor or the Darkstalker horse or Battle Cat or that thing that Beastman drives. It's got like, it's basically like a catapult that has a big ball on the end,
right?
And stuff. So yeah, I didn't get on that because I'm pretty sure I haven't seen them, but I haven't been looking for them. New Masters of the Universe toys for this Netflix series will probably come out if they haven't come out already.
I've seen them in Walmart. They hit my Walmart about a month ago, and they got cleared out pretty quick. I think that there's a handful of them sitting on the shelf that they're not on the same display. That when they came out, they were just like drug out on a pallet and set out. The box was taken off of it, and there was a nice display with a bunch of different characters on it. But yeah, I'm still surprised at how many of they're not really reissues because they've got more articulation, but they look like the 1980s action figures. And I still see a bunch of those just sitting. I mean, I've never seen them discounted. And there's just so many of, that's the only thing that my Walmart has in stock consistently is those $14 Masters of the Universe, the ones that look like the vintage characters.
Yeah. I like Tarantino movies. I'm a big Tarantino movie fan. So Stuntman Mike's car from Death Proof would be great. And then you had in that one scene you had Kim and then Zoe Bell. They were playing Chips Mass on that the 1970 Dodge Challenger. Set something up like that. That would be great. I would be in on that. I passed on the Macho Man one just because I'm like a Macho Man and a Ford Bronco, like that really, just. And I'm a big Macho Man guy. I look at the video scope right now. Yeah, dig it.
I thought an Alf character with the red Ferrari from season 1 where he buys Lynn that red Ferrari, that would be really cool. Dumb and Dumber, the Mutt Cuts van with
right,
those guys standing next to it, a James Bond, the Toy Story Pizza Planet with the wiry looking pizza delivery kid.
That'd be good stuff. Cheech and Chong, man.
Yeah. Indiana Jones with the tank from Last Crusade. Seinfeld with him, the episode where he was trying to sell that used van. Or you said you never really watched Seinfeld. The Lost van, or you remember the TV series Lost? That they had the Dharma Initiative vans, and you could have any one of the characters sit next to those, and or like G.I. Joe, if they ever licensed that. I mean, those vehicles there would be just take my money.
Yeah,
I mean,
killer. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's just so many great movie cars. The Ford Mustang from Bullitt is a great car. Bad Boys is still a viable license, I think. So,
yeah.
Mike Lowry, get him a Porsche there or whatever he had. But yeah, that'd be great. One of my favorite shows of all time was Burn Notice with Jeffrey Donovan, and he had a Dodge Charger, Dodge Challenger, a blacked out one, and that one was really great. But for me with Jada, I could skip the figures. Just give me the cars.
I really like the I have 2 of the Fast and Furious, that orange car that Brian O'Connor uses. And they had the first one came out without the figure, and then the second one came out with the figure. And I really like the size of the packaging that goes with all the Batmobiles with the Batman figures. So I kind of like the just the displayability of the package, the box set. And I like when they add the little character that's to scale with the car. Because I never take anything out. I hardly ever take anything out of the packaging. So I doesn't. But that actually brings me to an interesting. You dabble some into action figures and whatnot. But I had heard, and let's see if you would agree with this definition terminology. An action figure has articulation, but a figurine has no articulation. They're just a static, figure that doesn't have any joints or anything. Would you agree with that terminology definition, or would you say that you wouldn't even use the term figurine because that sounds feminine?
I don't know if it's because it sounds feminine. I just think that maybe factually it's inaccurate. If there's no posability, it's a statue.
Okay.
If it has sort of basic articulation, maybe legs at the hips, arms at the shoulders, and some head turning, that would probably be more of a figurine. Action figure came around way back in the day when they wanted to make G.I. Joes, and again, it's a little bit more old school. I kind of like more of the posable action figure. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to count points of articulation and say that, well, this one has 10, so it fits into this category. If it has 9, it fits into that category, because they're sort of made in a certain way. And, the effect that the figure has, you may not need it to articulate so much. It's like the new Spider-Man toys. They articulate at the wrist and all these things. And, some of maybe, the WWE figures do that, but let's just say the Star Wars Black figures didn't do that. Or are they less action figures? Would they fit? But I just think, like, if it has no articulation, it's a statue. If it has those basic 4 or 5 points, hips, shoulders, and head, it's probably more in that figurine category. And anything after that, it's an action figure or a fully posable figure or whatever it is that you want to call it.
Do you have any feelings on soft materials in action figures? Like in the collectibles, in the Walmart electronics sections, they've had these action figures in that section, and a lot of them are the 6 or the 8-inch figures, but they'll have like actual material. And to me, I feel like that's just that's so close to like Barbie and Ken kind of stuff that I mean, like, I would almost rule it out. There's a Super 7 figure that I kind of wanted to get until I saw that it had like soft good, I mean, like the clothing material on it. One of my favorite characters as a kid was the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland. And they are making a really cool detailed action figure of him, but his coat is soft goods material. And I don't know, I don't dig the soft goods. I'd almost like steer away from that. It's almost a deal breaker for me as a collector. Do you have any opinions on that at all?
No, it doesn't really matter to me as long as it's done to capture sort of the essence of the character or whatever moment or battle or whatever it is that that character is supposed to be in. I don't think that, you know, in the 90s they made Toy Biz made X-Men figures, and a lot of those figures had like cloth capes, like a Magneto or something like that. I don't think that detracts from the value as much as those figures really only had 4, maybe, or 5, maybe 7 points of articulation: hips, knees, shoulders, and head. I just think it has to look appropriate for whatever the figure is and wherever they're supposed to be. I mean, you know, they're so good at it now. It's like they can, you know, in the He-Man days we were talking about in the 80s, you know, all those armors and things were plastic. Well, what if they actually made that out of like real leather and, you know, a piece of steel or something to give it that real authentic look? So I guess for me it's more about aesthetics than it is materials.
Mm-hmm. Now, the one exception I would say, capes. I am okay with soft good capes on action figures, but to me, I kind of feel like what's a good example of a
And really, what's your tolerance for soft goods? Because Kenner released in what was it, 90, I want to say 92 or 93. It was a Batman Returns kind of figure where it was a fully changeable Batman. It was a Bruce Wayne figure, but all the stuff that went on him was very soft, like a rubbery, plasticky type material. So, you know, what's the difference between a pair of plastic boots on a Batman figure and a nylon, you know, shirt for a Barbie? I mean, they're essentially the same type of materials, you know. That's
this is, yeah, that's something right there.
Pop that into Google Translate.
It could be a cry for help from somewhere.
Yeah, it could be our friends over in Afghanistan.
No, Japanese or Chinese.
But you know, I never really cared what the materials were, I guess, per se. I mean, unless they're just made of low quality stuff.
The action figure that you were describing with the Batman and the interchangeable stuff, I think that as a collector myself, I would probably have passed on that figure. This is actually, I've been wanting to make a video, and I've been waiting to find an action figure. Have you heard of the Transformers RED? The robot enhanced design
No
figures. Essentially, they're action figures. They do not transform. So it's a transformer that doesn't transform into an alt mode. It's just the robot action figure. But they do a really good job making the action figure look like what the cartoon or the movie looked like in the robot mode. And something that they do, and they're 6-inch scale, like the Marvel Legends or the Star Wars Black Series. So it's about that same scaling. And something that they do that I wish that Marvel Legends and Star Wars Black Series would follow suit and do themselves is if they have additional hands or heads, they put that in on the side of the packaging in a side window. So if you're buying it as a box display to put some on a shelf and display, you don't have all these random hands and faces just floating next to the accessories. Because I mean, like, to me, I think that is so bizarre to just like you see your action figure and then there's two heads and a pair of hands, and I just like, I like that if you're going to open it and you want to set them up in different poses and photograph or display them with different hands or whatever, or different facial expressions, I appreciate that they're included. But for myself, I want to display it like new in the packaging. And for me, when I see that, I just think it's just so odd that, I mean, there's extra body parts just floating in the packaging.
Yeah, I almost wish they would not do that in the frontal display window, and just maybe put them in the packaging somewhere, and then on the back of the packaging kind of shows what it comes with. Drill Sergeant 666 says, "Konnichiwa, konnichiwa, genki desu ka? Haisei. Name wa nan desu ka?" So, I find it's just too busy when they put all that stuff in the front windows. Transformers is good for that too by putting the missiles and the cyber keys and all that stuff, in the front window of the box, and it really kind of takes away from what you really want to look at, which is the figure that's in the box.
When what I feel is even worse than over showing all the accessories and then extra body parts is the Build-A-Figure stuff. I don't want to see like the body of the Hulk with my action figure. I mean, like, put that in the back or like a window in the back so I can flip the box over and see, oh yeah, this part comes with this figure.
Just like if it's the Hulk and it's, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, just have a black and white figure of the Hulk and then, make the right leg green.
Yeah.
This part included, it just looks too busy, and it's just kind of not needed. You know what I mean?
I mean, I have turned down like action figures that I would have liked to have picked up for my collection, and I've been like, I don't like the way that it displays. I think that if it were something I was going to take out of the packaging, then yeah, the action figure is cool. But I mean, like, I really when I'm setting stuff up,
now you got a leg on your shelf.
Yeah, like this random leg in the display. I mean,
that's how they get you to buy all 5 or 6 in the set.
Right?
Which is crazy.
So how has the hunting been going down there? Is it?
Well, and it always happens this way where it's like, because we work 10-hour shifts, so I'm off every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'm like, man, this weekend, cut my grass, and I got all weekend, man, nothing to do, and then I go to Goodwill, and I find this blue 1985 Lego storage bin for $2, and I'm like, well, it always happens. Like, I find something like that, and I'm like, all right, well, you know what? I'm going to head down to the other store anyway. And then you find something, you're like, well, shit, I'm 2 for 2, So then it just ends up being an all-day adventure. So we got some toy stuff today. I wanted to shoot a video. I think it's a little too late tonight. I might go to bed after this. Met with a friend of mine who's sort of clearing out his video game stuff. He brought me a tote. I'm like, how much do you want? We worked out a deal for that. We went to Five Below. They restocked for whatever reason, because these Series 4, the Bugatti sets that in the color phase, they're out of production, but I'm sure they still have boxes somewhere in warehouses that just haven't made it to where they're supposed to go. First Five Below I go to, my friend and I, we walk up right there. The first 2 pegs, a gold Bugatti and a silver Bugatti.
Oh, wow.
Come on, man. So then it was on like Donkey Kong all day. So I mean, I make the videos, and those will be out tomorrow afternoon or Sunday or something. But we just ran around all day. I got up at like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't get home until 6:30 at night. I was like, sweetheart, I talked to the wife. I was like, sweetheart, just if you're hungry, order McDonald's or something because I'm done for the day. So
Actually, you mentioned micro machines, and I was thinking that would be another cool thing for Jada to do is to like that yellow and pink one showing the Lamborghini, like show like a reproduction of that one, and then make a larger variant right next to it. So you have the micro machine and then the big 1/24th scale exactly painted the exact same way. I think that would be really cool if they did that with some of their like really old classic popular ones, the iconic micro machine looking.
Absolutely. And some of those most iconic micro machines are those exotic cars like Lambo, Porsche, Ferrari, you know, and in those crazy color schemes, because that Lamborghini that you have, I have two of those and they're both missing the spoilers, but that Lamborghini actually came from a watch set that had like a thing on it about this big. It was a clear plastic box essentially, and you launched the Lamborghini out of it.
I think I remember those.
So
I didn't have that, but I mean,
and they're crazy expensive. But if Jada, because a lot of micro machine collectors, especially in our Facebook group, they love the Jada stuff because back in the mid, nah, it wasn't really mid, but it was more late 80s. Micro machines was so popular that they were outselling Hot Wheels and Matchbox. So obviously, when you have a toy line that popular and it's making that amount of money, you're going to lend yourself to other companies, getting into the market. So like Road Champs, Funrise. There's a company that still makes toys today, Moose Mountain Toy Limited or Limited Toys. They made little miniature cars just like micro machines, and unless you have a really good eye, an eagle eye, can spot your mom from a mile away, you need a lens, a jeweler's loupe, to actually look at the bottom of the car and tell if they're actually real micro machines because they're really good replicas. And there's a lot of people in our micro machines groups that, they love micro machines. That's sort of their main thing. But man, they also love those sidecars too because they're vintage, they're cool, reminds them of those good old days. If Jada ever partnered with Hasbro and Jazzwares and did something like that, especially when it came to the exotic cars, or another really popular micro machine line is the deluxe cars where the hoods and the trunks and the doors open. If they made, a replica micro machine and then a scaled car where all those components opened up, I mean, again, it's one of those license to print money situation. Here, take my money.
Yeah.
Can I mortgage my house to pay for these toys?
So have you noticed do you feel like inventories are picking up any, or do you feel like shelves are as bare as they've been?
No, I was talking. So one of the things that I also do, like, you watch my YouTube channels and it's like, dude, this guy loves gaming, he loves toys, and I do. But there's also a side of it where I'm speculating in the market. I'm buying a bunch of items and I'm going to box them, I'm going to bubble wrap them each, box them up, wait 5 or 6 years, and see how the market goes. We were just talking about this today, a couple more sophisticated sort of investment type collectors. And the micro machines, Jazzwares and Hasbro, they've either really done their homework or they really screwed up. There's really no way to do it. The Series 1 and 2 cars, which were fantasy cars, if you remember, they weren't licensed cars. All over the place. Target, Walmart, Meijer, whatever your local stores that you have in your area are. And they're just all over the place. And as you know, there was a time, not too long ago, a month and a half ago, where you could walk into a Walmart and buy these 3-packs of cars that retailed for $4.99 and I was getting them for $2.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting blind bags that were $1.99 for 97 cents. That's 50% off of a manufacturer suggested retail price. So you're getting really good deals on these items. The cars that I picked up this week, I'll grab one. They are now all licensed sets, and this one there's a Cadillac set, there's a new Bugatti set. This one is definitely the winner in my opinion. This is the Camaro Generations. It's got a 67 Camaro, an 80 Camaro, 2000, 210, and 220 Camaro.
Oh wow.
So it's a nice set of cars. With the 5 packs, you get the display stand in the back. That's not really the point. The point is that these guys right now retail for $10. You can flip these on eBay for 40. That's a problem that Jazzwares and Hasbro is having. If they would have released those first 2 sets with junk cars in it, the fantasy cars, hey, welcome back to Micro Machines. If they would have released those in a much more limited quantity, it would have probably increased the demand. Because just like you see on Yahoo every 2 weeks, oh, 10 baseball cards that could pay for your kid's retirement, or 5 video games that you could pay your house off with, right? You would start seeing stuff like that for these new Micro Machines if they printed them in more limited quantities. But also, they would have saved all of that waste, all that money that they wasted by producing all of these cars that weren't licensed cars. These cars, if they would have saved that money and printed these in a lot higher quantity, they would be selling off the shelf and not at Walmart for $2. So they've almost done it in reverse, but I don't know if they've done that on purpose. They over manufactured, and now they're under manufacturing when they should have under manufactured to create a demand, and now filled that demand with money that they saved at the beginning, especially for these licensed cars. Most of us Micro Machines collectors, that's what we're looking for, is these great licensed brands, because that's what we had when we were kids. They would be making hand over fist now and not having to clearance them out at $2 or whatever they sold them to Walmart for. It's my understanding that Target is going to be out of the Micro Machine business. They do have probably leftovers on the shelf. They've reduced their play sets from $15 to $7.49, so 50% off of a brand new playset with an exclusive vehicle. The garage playset was $20. It's $10, and Supervan City, which came out, and that's the big one. That's the big playset that everybody had. I think that thing retailed for like $40 or $50. If you can find them at Target now, they're on clearance for $13.
Yeah,
but they are carrying the Corvette playset, which is weird. These are Series 5 Micro Machines. That Corvette playset is actually a Series 6. So somehow they got a playset for a series of cars. And it seems like each Target, well, it doesn't seem like it is. Each Target that is getting them is getting 2, and that's what they're getting. And they're $40 retail. If they drop to $20 retail, I'll probably go out and scoop up every one I can find. Just, again, speculating and investing type thing.
That Camaro set that you found, did you find that in the wild, or did you, buy that from somebody who found it in the wild, or?
I did. I stopped at my local Meijer on the way home, picked up, let's see if I can get, there we go. That's a little bit better. Picked up 2 of the Camaro sets, 2 of the Bugatti sets, and then there is a Cadillac set. I didn't find any of the chase cars, but they had 5 left. I bought all 5 because you can flip these sets on eBay for $40 each, $40 each. So I sell the Camaro set, the extra Camaro set, the extra Bugatti set. That's $60. So I'm plus $10. Plus I get to keep the 3 other sets from my collection. Or if they skyrocket in price, flip those real quick. So, yeah. But it seems like the Meijer stores that are getting Series 4 and Series 5, it's not every Meijer. One time it was this Meijer over here, and then Series 5 it was this Meijer over here. There's no consistency, which is another problem sort of Jazzwares has, is distribution and letting people know. Like, they have an Instagram page, they have a YouTube page, they have a website. Like, hey, United States, get ready for it. The new Micro Machine set is launching on August 26th. Check these stores. They just don't do anything to create buzz. So this line is scheduled, if you look at their website, for Series 5 and Series 6. They have nothing after that. So I don't know if they've considered these sets a failure, but and they're going to abandon it or scale it back. But if you're into the Micro Machines for investment purposes, definitely now is the time to get in my opinion, just because of the scarcity of the product.
Yeah. Did you go out and look at any of the GameStops around you to see if you could find any blind bags that were reduced?
I did. One of the things that I kind of pride myself on, I'm really good at, is sort of networking, building friendships. The people that work at the retail store are not your enemy. In fact, most of the time, they hate the company that they work for, and they're willing to work with you. So I went to my local GameStop, where I know the guys, and they were there, and they had like a half a box of Series 3 blind bags, and I even told them, this is funny as you mentioned that. I was like, "Hey, are these still $2?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Hey, do you know when you're gonna get the Series 4 in?" He's like, "No." And I pulled up your video where you got them for 97 cents and had the GameStop sticker on them, because I was trying to coax him into selling me those for 97 cents each. Right? Use every weapon at your disposal. I'm like, "This is my boy's secondhand toy dealer. He picked these up at GameStop for 97 cents. Can you guys like price match, or you know what I mean?" And Adam was like, the guy I know at GameStop was like, "Yeah, no, it's not. If it's not our system, we really can't do it. And I don't want to get in trouble." And I'm like, "I don't want to get you fired. I'll make a complaint to corporate, and I'll leave
Yeah.
I'll put Eric. I mean, the other guy that I know at GameStop will put his name in it.
Yeah.
But supposedly the Series 4 blind bags are supposed to be the last set of blind bags for this new Micro Machines sort of experiment or line. You can go on to Jazzware's website, and they, again, another screw up by them. I think we were in Series 3 or Series 4 of the Micro Machines. Again, we didn't get Series 3 in the United States. They only got those abroad, which was kind of upset me, because they had the gold, the silver, and then one of the cars in the pack was a ruby colored treasure hunt car. So this guy right here, this yellow one, would be like a bright shiny ruby color, and I'm like, man, I wish we would have gotten those. But Jazzware screwed up, and they actually posted Series 5 and Series 6 cars. The pamphlet, that you get in the box on their website, and about an hour and a half later, they pulled it down. So they were like, "Oh, we got our hand caught in the cookie jar." But by then, it was too late. Everybody in every Facebook Micro Machine group was like, "These are the Series 5 cars. These are the Series 6 cars. Oh my God, they're giving us the same car in a different color. That's ridiculous. Oh my God, we're getting whatever." Yeah, right. Sort of mixed opinions. And then they took them down for about a week, and then they went, "Listen, we got caught." So they just put them back up on their website. But the Series 4 blind bags look like that's going to be it. There are no blind bags scheduled for Series 5 or Series 6, if you're into that kind of thing. I enjoy the blind bags. It's sort of a niche kind of thing, because you don't want to go to GameStop 5 times and spend the amount of money that you spend on the blind bags. I just end up making a video out of it and having a good time. And what I do, because I do the video game thing as well, is every year GameStop gives like stupid, crazy trade credit common games. So like Wii Sports, which I sell in my eBay store for like $22 or $23, they'll give you like $19 for it. And I'm like, that's a better deal than selling it on my eBay store and
Right.
paying fees and shipping. So you find those games all the time at garage sales for like a dollar or $5 or under or whatever. And then a couple times a year, they'll get real crazy with Wiimotes, PS3, PS4, Move controllers, Mario games. The ones that you could probably find really cheap are like Call of Duty DS games, because sometimes they'll trade in for like $13, and you're like, why is this trading in for $13? It's a Call of Duty game on the DS. Who wants it? This game cannot play that great on the DS.
Right.
And I just save those up, and when I check about every 3 or 4 weeks, what those prices are going for, and then I'll just take them in, and I build up trade credit that way. So I've already sold, whatever it was in the lot to get my money back, turn a profit, keep what I want. And I've got these dead games laying around. And then that's what I turn. So free Micro Machines, that's what I turn into the collectible that I want from GameStop.
Yeah.
It's really just how savvy you are at sourcing, saving, and selling, the 3 S's. So again, like I said, it's not worth my time when GameStop's giving me 18 or 19 bucks for a Wii Sports, when I sell them for 23 or 24 bucks. I mean, it just doesn't make good business sense. I'll take the trade credit And
Right.
then that magic day when I walk into GameStop and they've got a rare game on the shelf that's mispriced, you know. So that's sort of my plan. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about these Series 4 Micro Machines. I hope we get them soon.
And that's what those Camaros are. Those Series 4.
These are actually Series 5. The Series 4 3-packs were the Bugatti Heritage, the Color Phase. There was a military set and a Desert Adventure. The 5-packs were a GM Icon set. There was a classic drag race set, and then the very horrible worst Micro Machines set of all time, the Micro World Police set, which I did a review on Toy Freaks. The paint, absolutely disgusting. The vehicles, ridiculous. I can't believe that set got released. I mean, that's the only way I can say it. It's a terrible set. It's the worst set that Micro Machines has ever released. I can't believe Hasbro put their seal of approval on that because it was downright embarrassing. So those are Series 4. Series 5, we just got the World Pack, so we've got the three 5-pack World Packs, the Bugatti set, the Camaro set, and the Cadillac set. We have not seen the Series 5 3-packs yet, which should have one of my favorite Micro Machine lines of all time, monster trucks, man.
Is there anything else that is on the horizon that you haven't seen hit the stores yet that you are hunting for or keeping your eye out for?
To answer your question in 2 parts, is there anything on the horizon that I know is coming out? Yes, I can't talk about it. I'm not hunting for them, no, because I know they're not out yet. You know.
Yeah.
But I'm always looking for Micro Machines, the chase cars, and let's back up. The Micro Machines, the chase cars are always good. The silver and the golds. The Series 4, Series 5 5-packs, money. I do love Lego. I was out today. I was at a Target. They had the Mandalorian armor set. They had 3 of them, and they're $30 each, and they're going for like $60-$70 online. So I thought, well, I'll buy 2, or I'll buy all 3, flip 2, make a little profit, keep 1 for myself. But the boxes were kind of dinged up, so I haven't gotten into the new Star Wars sets yet. And I don't know, maybe you know, because when they have the bigger sets, right? And they put that black wire thing on it with the security device, and it messes up the boxes.
Yeah.
And it's like,
there's a
man.
There's a Walmart that it is not far from me, and the town is comparable in size. We've got about 7,000 people in my town. There's probably about 10, 11,000 in that town. And I wouldn't have thought that it would have been much different as far as like theft and risk and whatnot. But they put those little, like spider web ordeals,
Mhm.
and they really wrench down on those to make sure people don't get them off. But then all these like collectible action figures, like this $50 Walmart exclusive Deadpool statue that they're just crushing. And I'm like, I lost complete interest in buying that when you ruined it by smashing it. I mean,
the sets that I want are a Moff Gideon light cruiser, maybe, but I really want the Mandalorian fighter with the 3 exclusive figures. One of them is Bo-Katan. I'm a big fan of Bo-Katan. The Boba Fett Starfighter, because we can't call it Slave One anymore. Bunch of liberal hippies.
yeah.
I think the duel on Mandalore with the Ahsoka and the Darth Maul, that'll be around for a while. That's almost a battle pack, and it's way too expensive for what it is. But I just figured anyway, like, instead of trying to figure out going to different stores and looking at condition, really the best thing to do to buy Legos is just go to the Lego store and buy them, because you're going to pay the same price. They're probably going to have what you want. And you get, if you're a VIP Lego rewards member, you build up the points. So there's really, unless there's like a super rare set or sets that are on like super secret clearance, a $20 set that's like $5, there's no reason to go to Walmart. These Lego video sets, they were dead on arrival. Do you want to play with your phone, or do you want to play with Legos? You know what I mean? Like, you can't. Lego is one of those toys where it's sit down, hang out with old dad, build some funky race cars in a lopsided building and then knock it over. These kids today are too tech dependent. I knew that those sets were gonna bust, and I want to say they were like $15 or $20 sets at release. I saw them at Meijer today. They had basically what they did was they went to the shelf, knocked them all into a cart, pushed them over to the clearance aisle, put $10 stickers on. I'm like, not even at $10.
Right.
There's some exclusive pieces in there for the figures and whatnot, but it's like not even for $10. If these were $3 a piece, I would probably buy them all, just to have, because somewhere down that's not even a set that's somewhere down the line. A kid that's 10 years old, 20 years from now is going to be like, man, I wish I had my old Lego video sets back. You know what I mean? Because the technology is going to move past what the Legos are capable of doing, and that service is probably going to be offline by then.
Yeah. I did see they had those battle packs, the Sith Troopers.
Yes.
And I mean, like I almost bought. They had 3 sets of them at $4 a set, and I almost bought them, but I was buying a bunch of other stuff. I was like, I'd have to sell them because I'm not going to keep them for anything. And I haven't had any luck moving anything on Facebook Marketplace or that. Yeah. I think the last time I talked to you on a live stream, I was getting ready to do a flea market, and it was a complete bust. I mean, I took about $1,500 worth of stuff, and everybody was, oh man, you're gonna sell so much stuff, and people are starved to get out and do this kind of thing because of COVID shutdowns last year, and nobody was doing this stuff, and they got all this money, and they're gonna be so excited to buy all your stuff. And I think I sold $300 worth of stuff, and 2 of them were $100 items. And I was like, man, if you would have taken those 2 items out, I mean, I would have almost broke even paying for the booth. I mean, and I was in a dairy cow barn in my fairgrounds, well, not my fairgrounds, but the adjacent county. And I mean, so I was on a dirt floor with it was a really long building, and there was some kind of vent right above where I was, and it was super windy, and all you just bang, 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 bang. I mean, the whole time I was there. I mean, so, and I mean, like,
what were the $100 items that you sold?
I sold a General Lee diecast car, and what was the other big thing? I think I sold that Millennium. I sold an oversized Millennium Falcon, a big monster. But both of those, the guys talked me down. I mean, like probably 20% below what I had in it. And I mean, to me, I'm like, okay, so I buy a bunch of stuff, and then when I don't have room for it, or I want to bump it out, I mean, like I don't store anything. Everything's going to be on display. So if I buy, if I have room for 100 things and I buy 3 things, I got to find 3 things to knock out of the rotation, because I mean, the stuff I just got, I'm more excited about. And
is that a flea market? Is that a flea market where you leave stuff there, or is it
no?
Like at the end of the day you pack it up?
Yeah, you sat and babysat it. It was a Saturday, Sunday, and you just, I mean, like they had police that were guarding it at the fairgrounds, but you just let me all the buildings got locked up at night, and which I was a little, I mean, like, some of these people are selling like old coffee mugs they bought at garage sales for 25 cents. I mean,
sure,
what does it matter if somebody comes in and rips all their stuff off? But I got some, I mean, like a bunch of,
that's why I don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, like, and all my stuff was, I mean, like, I would say if I took 100 items there, probably 97 of them were brand new in package. So, I mean, and most of them were stuff that, I mean, like 10, 15 years ago would have been new on the shelf that you can't walk into Walmart and find what I had. And I wasn't looking to like make a profit. I just wanted to recoup what I had in it back out. Huh.
Michaela, you're being weird right now. Somebody, welcome to Block City, bitch. Oh, sorry, we're on your channel. I gotta clean it up. Yeah, I couldn't fathom leaving, $2,000 worth of inventory
Yeah.
somewhere. You know what I mean? It's just not in me. But if you get a chance, go back and get those Sith Trooper sets for $4.
Yeah. Yeah, those were gone the next day. I went back to look for something else. It's like I wonder where those are, and
of course they were. They're scheduled to retire this year, and actually in that set, the Mandalorian Battle Pack is a little bit better because all 4 figures are exclusive. In that Jetpack set, the Sith Trooper set, it's the only set that Lego makes that has the red backpack, the red jetpack,
mm-hmm.
in the new style, where the thrusters are pointed a little bit out, not all straight, down.
Yeah.
And then one of the figures is exclusive, but if you just work on the general principle that Lego minifigures are always going to be worth $2,
Yeah.
and you get 4 in a battle pack. Traditionally, with Lego battle packs, with the exception of very few, either way, like the Mandalorian battle pack that came out in like 2010, 2011 and retailed for $12, it's like a $90 battle pack right now. And then there's very few that retailed for like $13 that are like $10 now, right? Traditionally, if you look at the numbers on Amazon and Camel, what you'll see is those battle packs lifespan average between 1.5 years and 2 years. After they've retired, about a year after that, they start to creep up to their peak, which is about 3 times retail. So those battle packs retailed for $15. They're getting ready to retire by the end of the year. So next year, sort of this time, or maybe sort of more towards Christmas season, because it's weird. If you look at the numbers, and I'm a numbers guy, right? Gordon Graham, show me the numbers, show me the data. You'll see that the way Lego has their sets retiring, it's done strategically. So those $15 sets will probably be worth, $40 to $45 this time next year or the year after. Just kind of Christmas season is sort of that big season.
Yeah.
But for $4, heck yeah, man, I'd have snatched every one of them and asked them if they had more in the back.
Yeah. But I mean, like at this point, I can't find buyers for anything. I mean, like I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm done with eBay. I mean, like I think that between eBay and their policy changes and the post office raising their rates, I mean, like I feel like I buy something for $15 and then I decide, okay, it's time to clear it from the inventory. I sell it on eBay. I mean, maybe I can make $20 on it, but then I gotta lose $8-10 on shipping and then another couple bucks for commissions and whatnot. And that's if it all goes well. If the post office wrecks it on its way to the guy and then he wants a refund, and I mean, it isn't worth what I mean. Like I don't.
It's definitely very seller friendly and not buyer friendly now. eBay tried to tip the scales because it was really buyer friendly for the longest time. I never charge free shipping. Very, very few items do I charge free shipping. Maybe if I find like a record at Goodwill for $2, it's like a $70 record. I'll pay the $2.89 for media mail. You know what I mean? Like I got you, bro. But and it's weird when you get into the psychology of it. People like free shipping because in their mind it's like, well, I'm not calculating extra cost. And my example is, Tecmo Bowl on Nintendo is about a $10 game. So if I put it up for $9.99 with free shipping, isn't that really the same as putting it up for $4.99 with $5 shipping?
Right.
But people think that because it's free shipping that they're getting some kind of extra value. And if you look at the studies, again, data, show me the numbers. People that get items that are free shipping, even though they click on it because it's free shipping. Oh, I don't pay extra for shipping. Even though it's calculated into the price, they expect that the item is lower quality than another seller selling the exact same item that charges shipping. So I always charge shipping because I know that people look at that and go, this guy is charging shipping, but it's going to be a higher quality item. And it's never let me down. My problem with the shipping is this: if I send this to Pennsylvania, it may cost $3.45. If I send it to California, it's $5.85, another $2.40. And when you're working on, a $10 item that you're selling for $20 or $25, those $2 on your bottom line mean a difference over the year, a big difference. If you sell 100 items, that's another $200. So, like I said, there are very few items that I charge free shipping on, just because I know the data and the psychology of it. But yeah, eBay, I haven't sold anything on my eBay store in like 4 days. It's starting to frustrate me.
How often, like, if the last like 30 days, how many things do you think you've purchased on eBay?
For myself, because I purchase shipping supplies on eBay all the time. I just buy in bulk. So I got like a package of like 100 or 200 8x6x4 boxes, shipping boxes. But for myself, man, it's really only if I need like a part for my Unicron, or if there's some specialty part for a Lego, like a $50 Lego minifigure, and I need the hairpiece and I got to pay $10 for it, something like that. That's really only when I buy on eBay. I'm not looking on eBay for, audio books or scarves or kitchen, you know what I mean? But there are a lot of people that are, so.
Yeah, I buy some. I would say that it's been a while since I've purchased anything. There's a lot of things that I'm watching, and that's something I've noticed in the last year or so, that if I watch something long enough, there's a good chance that I'm gonna get an offer sent to me. Like, oh, I was trying to sell it for 100 and it's been sitting for a month, so hey, are you interested in it for 85 or something like that? And sometimes
that's how eBay's algorithm works to push sales to make more money for eBay. If I looked on my eBay store right now, and that's a great way to generate sales, especially like this Transformers lot. Dude, I sold $340 worth of Transformers in a private sale today. Like, I'm way ahead on this box. So we're coming down to, a handful of Transformers, like 50 Transformers, right? So if I've got one listed, let me look here. So I've got one listed for Transformers Energon Stormjet Power Links Combiner. I've got it for $14.99 plus shipping, and I've got 10 watchers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this person an offer right now. How about $12.99? Boom. So all those people that are watching, hopefully some of them will get that offer of $12.99. I've made my money back on that lot. I don't know. I've probably made $1,000 on that $40 lot. I don't know. It's probably pretty close if that's not the actual number. And I still have half of them to go. But when I sent that, like I just sent that guy an offer, dude, that's one more Transformer that's out the door. It's all profit. They're paying for shipping. I don't care if it's a $15 Transformer. I'll sell it to you for 12.
Yeah.
So it's a good time for sellers. But yeah, I only look for parts that I need, or like sometimes like at a game store or something, I'll find a game that's like a $40 game and they've got it for $12. Well, I'm like, okay, well, if I can go on and it's missing the manual, if I can go on eBay and I can get the manual for like $8, I'll have $20 into it. I can resell it, double my money. Like, it's all about that profit margin. It's fun. It's fun to go out and hunt. It's fun to go out and find this stuff. But at the end of the day, I can't put this in the microwave and feed it to my daughter, and she'd like it. I mean, like, she's not gonna like a 2020 Chevy Camaro. We're pushing towards an end here, where the end is we want to make some money. It's fun, it's cool to collect and all that stuff, but I'm not independent wealthy, so we got to kind of do stuff like that. One time I found it was at a thrift store. It was NCAA college basketball 2K8 for the 360. Pretty expensive game. The last one I sold was about $140, but it was missing the manual. So I looked on eBay before I bought it, and I went, "Oh, this person has a manual for $12 plus shipping," and I'm gonna have like $4 or $5 into the. Boom! I bought the manual for a game that I didn't even own while standing in the checkout line to buy the game. You know what I mean? So these are all things that you have to kind of think about. If you're getting into it, as you were, you're looking, because the disc in the case was about 80, 90, but if I spent that extra $10 or $12 on the manual, I could increase its value by $30.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times I've done that, but Michaela doesn't even make sense. I want your head, lose you too. That's not even a complete sentence. I blocked them, by the way.
Well, I don't know if you've ever heard me say this, but I'm like dyslexic. So when I read that sentence, I'm jumping all over, and I'm like, I too want your loose head. What in the? And so I'm sitting here like reading it 3 and 4 times before I actually put it together the way she has it written.
Yeah.
And I mean,
does she want us to lose our heads, or does she want our heads, or does she want head from us too? I don't know. I don't know what she's saying. I don't know if it's like she wants to kill us, or she's like looking for a little 3-way action here between a secondhand toy dealer and DM Retro.
But
oh, sorry, it's not that kind of channel.
But I mean, like when all we haven't. I mean, like we've had a few odd things in the chat here, which makes me wonder if we're just getting spammed at this point. But I mean, like when something will pop up in the chat, I mean, like it'll take me forever to just like, okay, I want to read through it, make sure I think I understand what it says, read through it again, make sure I didn't miss anything, because I mean, like I have this like intense phobia about reading in public. I mean, and knowing what I was doing for a living before this, I mean, like we would be at a training and they'd be like, all right, hey, we're just gonna take a paragraph and start reading. And I mean, like I would be just like ready to vomit. I'd be that worked up about, oh my gosh, is it gonna get around to me? And there was one point that I was having to read a form to somebody who was taking a test, if you know what I mean. And I'm reading this form to him. I had to have sound like an illiterate second grader trying to read through this thing, and the drunk guy was correcting me. No, it's not what that says. So I mean, like, so, yeah, I mean, like I try not to try not to read things that, because I was like, you said Michaela, and I was like, is that what that name is? Oh my gosh! Like, what I could have had 10 guesses. I don't know if that's what I would have landed on.
Yeah, it's too funny.
But no, so there's a they're doing the flea market again in October, and I've considered it because it's closer to Christmas, and still there's hardly anything on the shelves. I kind of thought that we'd start ramping up here and you'd start seeing stuff like fill in these shelves, but I'm like, people aren't gonna just say, okay, well, I guess we're not buying Christmas presents this year. I mean, like if a grandparent is at a flea market and sees, okay, well, I haven't found hardly what I wanted to find elsewhere, and this guy's got it. I mean, and I'm not. Yeah. I don't feel like I had anything unreasonably priced. I mean, people would be like, oh man, why are you asking $100 for that diecast General Lee? I'm like, that's what I've got in it. I mean, like, if you don't want to buy it, I understand. I mean, that's crazy. But boy, I said if you look for that one on eBay right now, you will spend $280 for it. I mean, like, I mean, like, my price is actually really good. Now, I understand if you haven't been paying attention to the diecast General Lee market, then this sounds insane. Why would anybody be able to get that kind of price out of it? But yeah, I mean, like, so
So
it
tell me,
was
so tell me about this flea market. Is it sort of like more of a country folk weekender where it might be beneficial to take a lot of like $5 and $10 items as opposed to a lot of higher end items?
probably. I had a really interesting experience because my booth was right next to a guy who buys. He must go through a vendor or something where he buys a bunch of really cheaply made Chinese knives and swords and
Yep.
nunchucks, and I mean, and he's just sitting there hand over fist. I mean, like making all kinds of money. He's like, you see like this like wandering group of like teenagers will show up, and he's like, you guys are 18, right? Like, yeah, he's 18, he's 19, he's 20. And
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
am McLovin.
like, and then they just like fork over $400 worth of, I mean, cash and buy all this cheap junk knives and stuff.
Yep,
And but
know your market.
yeah, and but no, I mean, like, I felt like they were in that that there's I think my experience was I was interested in collecting this kind of stuff until I got to a certain point, and then I was too old for it. And then after I got that I'm too old to be looking at action figures and stuff like that, and then I kind of got into the point where I wanted to collect it because my kids loved seeing my collection. And I mean, like, in the house that we had sold, I had this collection room, and I mean, I would just go down there and I mean, tinker with, I mean, like tearing a gun apart for cleaning it or working on building something, and they would just come down there and play. I mean, like, and just sit in that room and play. And I mean, my youngest would be like, it was like, "Where's Waldo?" Like, okay, so that's new. I can tell that's new. I've never seen that before. And he would love to come down there every week and be like, "Okay, so is there anything that's new here?" And he just, and I mean, like, they've really enjoyed the collection with me.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah,
and it,
collections are great when you have someone to share them with. If not, you're just that weird dude that sits in your basement and collects Nerf guns or Legos or
right,
video games. You know what I
and
mean?
I worry because I've got one in sixth grade and one in fourth grade, and I'm like, am I right on that verge of, yeah, my dad's really crazy. I don't know why, but he collects this stuff. It's so embarrassing. And I'm like, so am I gonna have to? I mean, like, I want, ultimately I want them to have a good childhood and a good experience. I don't want them to be like, I'm mortified to have my friends come over to my house because they might see my dad's room full of stuff. And so I'm like, are we on the verge of this isn't cool anymore, Dad? And I'll have to like rechannel some of my interest into something else, or and then I think about like what you're saying with this whole video game thing, where I mean, like, right now the market's high, but 10, 15 years from now, I mean, like, people may be like, I don't care anything about NES or Super Nintendo. I mean, like, this is nostalgic from our childhood, but my kids might not care anything about it. And all of a sudden, I mean, like, you may not even be able to hardly give it away. And I kind of feel like, the stuff that I've got is a lot of it is kind of recent. Like, I mean, like, I think everything on the wall behind me is in the last 5 years. So 10, 15 years from now, kids would be like, yeah, I had one of those when I was little. And man, that you've got one brand new in the box. That's awesome. And all of a sudden, I can maybe kick it loose for more than I bought it for at
Absolutely.
that point. So,
And that's this video game, and I've said this video game bubble that we've been in, especially for the retro stuff. Now, when I say retro, I mean sort of uh, Nintendo Master System, sort of mid '80s to sixth generation PS2, Xbox, Dreamcast, and GameCube. That's sort of what I consider retro. The people that had like Atari, Coleco, and Television, Magnavox Odyssey, all that stuff, they bought everything they wanted by the mid '90s. That was their time frame. They were very very lucky. By the time they were in their 30s and 40s, in the mid '90s, the video games weren't expensive at all, so they just bought all of this stuff, right? For us, it's a little bit different story. We are living in a video game bubble that's lasted almost 11 years. So I sold those and again, we're talking about profit here, right? We're talking about selling. If you got everything in your collection for $1, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But I sold all these Transformers today for $345. Decided to reinvest $110 into a copy of Metal Storm for Nintendo. A couple months ago, about $130 game. The price jumped to $180. So I thought I'm going to reinvest some of this $345 that I got for these Transformers. That's all profit. I'll invest $110. I'm going to wait about 2 months and I'm going to see where the price on that goes. If it goes over 200, like 220, then I'm going to sell mine for about 180 and I'm going to make another $70 profit. So that Transformers lot is now a $415 profit lot and not a $345 profit lot.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, at some point, say the Nerf market crashes tomorrow, you got a lot of Nerf right there. Nerf market crashes, nobody wants it. How many years in your life do you have left? Do you have another 30 years to hold on to that stuff and hope that it comes back around like bell bottoms and tie-dye t-shirts? You know, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I just turned 43. So if the Nintendo market crashes, I'm looking at about maybe my 70s before any of it, because it's gonna, when it crashes, it's gonna crash hard. There is no emulator for Nerf. There's an emulator that I've got every video game on. I don't need any of these games. You know what I mean? With these companies making you know what, like the minis and the classics and the flashbacks and everything. You know, there's all different ways to play these games. You don't actually have to own them physically. If you want that Nerf gun that's right behind you, you have to go buy one. You know?
Yeah.
So Nerf is almost like Lego. It's money in a box. You just got to hold on to it. You got to hold on to it for 5 to 10 years. And how much longer do you want to do that? How much longer do you want to get up at 6 a.m., go to Tim Hortons, go to the bank, take out money, drive to the stores and the garage sale? I mean, at some point, it just becomes old hat. And this year, I haven't gone to hardly any garage sales.
Yeah.
You know, so especially something as volatile and as speculative as retro video games. There really isn't an established, 30, 40 year market for Nerf guns yet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where there are dozens or hundreds of examples of a Nerf gun that sold in the late 80s or 90s, selling consistently for a certain amount. There's no like price guide or whatever. So, but the video game stuff is volatile. We've been doing it for 10 years, 11 years. At some point, all bubbles burst. It's just a matter of when. And I would rather sell if I bought a game for $50 or like Metal Storm, bought it for $110, I'll sit on it for a couple months, see if it goes a little bit higher, but then I'm going to get rid of it. I might get rid of it because I don't want that game to be a $50 game. And now, damn, I kind of lost $60, on a game that is just a collection piece. It's not. Now, I always say collect what you love, and if you had it when you were a kid and you want it back, go get it. You can't. There's no price on nostalgia or those memories. You know what I mean? But if you're buying showcase pieces for resale later, then when later comes, you better resale. You know what I mean? Because that's
right.
That's what you meant to do.
Yeah, I mean, and and that's why I passed on those Lego Sith Troopers. I mean, I'm like, I have stuff that I bought because I wanted it. I have a limited amount of space, and I mean, like, I bought other things. Now I'm going to kick this thing loose, and I can't get rid of those things. So, I mean, like, I probably could have bought those and then maybe made a profit on them right now. And obviously, probably if I would have waited longer, maybe I could have done that too and made a big profit on it. But I mean, a lot of my stuff is like bigger stuff, like this here. I mean, this is an easy Nerf gun to mod. People are like ripping these things apart and putting these motor cages in them that are shooting like 12 Nerf darts a second. I mean, just like wow. And I mean, like you can't buy this one right now. I mean I mean they started making this in like 03, 04, and then
So
they
what was the MSRP on that one? Do you remember?
it was like $45, and this was a Black Friday special this past Thanksgiving for $20. And so I was like, well, that's cool. I mean, like, and I mean, like when I was trying to collect stuff, I wanted bigger. I mean, I was like, okay, so most of my stuff goes on a pegboard. So I had this like thought of like, okay, how many dollars per square inch am I trying to fill up this collection? And I mean, $20 that fills up that much on the pegboard, that's cheap collecting right there. I mean, and then if I'm like,
what is that retail for right now? If you were to throw that up on Facebook Marketplace for its max value, what would you get out of it?
probably $60 right now if I find, but I mean, like there again, I'm in a rural community, so I mean,
So
like
you could triple your money on that.
on that one, yeah, probably. And honestly, let me see here. I think that every one of these was a clearance purchase. This one was originally like 45, I got it for 20. This was originally 60, got it on sale for 35. This one I didn't get on clearance. That one was originally 30, got it on sale for I think 18. This was 50, got it on sale for 25. That one was like 50, and I got that one on sale for 35. That was 50, and I got that on sale for $13. The Nerf Ultra One. And then the Alpha Hawk up there in the corner, I don't even know if you can see, you can just barely see the bottom of it. That was a $25 gun that I picked up for $12 on, and all of it was just clearance stuff that Walmart was kicking loose. And that Ultra One I really liked because it was a brand new Nerf dart style that they made, and it was such an epic failure. I mean, like they were like, this is gonna be the Nerf dart that's gonna end all Nerf dart. I mean,
Nerf
like
of the future.
Yeah, Nerf of the, and I mean, like they wanted this premium price for it. They were claiming it was gonna go 120 feet, and gosh, if you were in an airplane 120 feet off the ground, it'd probably still have a hard time hitting the ground. I mean,
yeah, right.
So, but yeah, I mean, like, most of my stuff is, let me say, probably about half of my stuff is stuff that I've purchased on clearance. And it's kind of just fun. I mean, like, I didn't have any of those Nerf guns as a kid, but I liked Nerf as a kid, and my kids like Nerf now. So, I mean, like, I mean, like that to me, I'm just like, if I can find a $20 Nerf gun that was $50 at some point, that's a fun thing to have in the collection. And then hopefully, I mean, like 10, 15 years from now, when somebody's like, I had one of those as a kid, if that's the thing I got to kick out of the collection at that point next, hopefully I can at least get my money back and then some. So,
yeah, and that's the way to do it, man. Buy low, hold it, sell it. I mean, I triple my money on a Nerf gun that I got. That seems like a good deal. And I don't know. Is that price been going up for like say the past year, or has it been stable for the past year?
it's been stable. I mean, like, and I don't know if that one there is an easy one to mod. Somebody's already figured out how to make that thing a powerhouse beast for all of these Nerf battles that these guys are going to. And I don't know if there's going to be nostalgia for somebody who was, man, I had one of those when I was 10 and now I'm 30 and boy, I'd love to have that thing again. But, and I mean, like I see like some of these, one of the things that I'm hunting for right now that I know is on the horizon, and I can't believe that I haven't seen it in any of the stores around me, but they are re-releasing the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures. And they look just like what you would have picked up back in the 80s. And I'm like, so who are they making these for? I mean, because my kids don't know what the turtles are. I mean, like and I'm like, and if there are some turtle movies that have come out in the last 10 years, but they don't look like the ones from the 80s, the cartoon action figure ones. Those, I mean, like, they're simpler. I mean, like, they made those for guys like us who remember having them as a kid, and we want to go and collect the reissue Generation 1 kind of stuff. And but then I think about, okay, so if I buy, that's one of the things that I'm like, it's gonna be fun to collect right now, but am I going to be able to give that thing away 10, 15 years from now? Because that's already, 30 years old. And it's not even the original. So, it's a reissue of something that's 30 years old. Is anybody going to care about, I think about the Hulk Hogan behind you. There's probably enough people still that remember who that is, but my kids have no idea who he is, and they couldn't possibly care less who Hulk Hogan was.
Yeah.
You fast forward 10, 15, 20 years from now, you can get probably $80 out of that thing right now. But 10 years from now, 20 years from now, is anybody gonna who the heck is that? And what was his deal? Nah, I want the guys I know now, or the guys that I watched growing up. So I think that some of this stuff is, they're probably never gonna stop making Halo games, but Master Chief will be good for a while. But I feel like some of the stuff I have to be careful about, sinking too much money into something that it's probably not going to be popular enough to really be able to get any of that money back when I do eventually go to cash out and move on.
Well, you kind of answer about Hulk Hogan. This is the most morbid thing you're ever going to hear in your life. But how many years does he have left? And usually, when celebrities die, prices on their memorabilia go up.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I'm waiting for that. I'm not waiting for the Hulkster to die, brother. But I do enjoy 80s wrestling, and it's sort of a cool piece to have in the collection. So that's one of those sort of nostalgia pieces. It's not really a resale piece. But if I were that person, I've got the Hulk Hogan lunchbox right there. I got those at a garage sale. I met a guy. He had a bunch of plastic lunch boxes. I said, "Are those lunch boxes?" He goes, "Yeah, but they're not metal." I'm like, "Oh, okay." They all have the registration card, the thermos, the little tags. I said, "How much you want for these?" "I don't know how much you want to pay." I said, "How about $10 each, and I'll buy every fucking one of them." Well, he had 3 Hulk Hogan lunch boxes with the registration cards, the thermos. The blue one is a Bucky O'Hare. So I'm just kind of waiting. Those things are, I want to say, like $30-$40 right now, but I'm not waiting. I shouldn't say that, but there will come a time when those become a little bit more expensive because people will have feelings for Hulk Hogan and they will remember back in the 80s when those lunch boxes were made and they will want them.
Yeah.
And I will be more than happy to sell it to them for more than $10. So did you see this new Aliens Nerf gun?
I have seen that. I haven't seen it in the wild anywhere yet. I've seen some people reviewing it, but Aliens wasn't anything that I watched a bunch of. I do think that it's a cool looking blaster weapon. So I think that it's cool. A lot of it's going to depend on the price because I dig Halo, but I didn't buy the Halo Nerf gun because it was like $50-$60, and
they got to pay that licensing fee back,
right? And I feel like I don't want anybody to walk into my collection and be like, "Yeah, this dude's only into Star Wars." I'm like, I've got 10 things that are Star Wars, but I got 180 things on display. How did you just say he's a Star Wars dude? I try and balance everything, and I'm like, I've probably got too much Halo stuff as it is, and then add a Nerf Halo gun that's huge. So, but
yeah, I'm not a Nerf guy. You're the Nerf guy, but I actually thought it looked really cool, and it looked just, and I like Aliens, and Predator and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
and I thought it was like a really good representation of
right
the gun from the movie. I was like, man, that's really, really cool.
Make it cool, like proper. Get dressed up and have that for just going out to like a yeah.
Painting that thing black and silver.
Now, do you think that if you were to see one of those out in a store, would you be any part of you that'd be like, that'd be kind of fun to buy and toss in the background? Or
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not my thing. I am absolutely one of these sort of obsessive types where the new Micro Machines came out. I'm all in. I want them all. I want every single Micro Machine that's on the shelf. You know what I mean? I am very. I'm almost lucky that you can't find Star Wars Black Series figures anymore because the expense of those is ridiculous, I think, compared to what you're getting. They're about $20, where the WWE Elite figures are like they're $16.99 or $17.99, whatever they are. But if Star Wars Black Series figures were everywhere, and there was Mandalorians and Bo-Katan and Sabine Wren and lightsaber, Ahsoka Tano with lightsabers and that kind of stuff, I'd be broke. I wouldn't have anything in my my side account because I would just buy them. Legos, I kind of went off the rail a little bit earlier this year when they started to announce that the ATS Raider set was going to be retired, which was it was absolutely crazy. The sort of phenomenon wrapped in the enigma, wrapped into this set, right? People were Cara Dune, right? Brickset actually reported that it retired February 17th, and then Lego got a hold of them and said, "Hey guys, we'll tell you when the set's retired. Okay, take that nonsense down." So they had to put it as current, but people saw that. Jim over at Brickbox, which is another Lego investing channel, he bought 250 of those sets.
Wow.
At $40 a pop, and you can do the math on that. He's one of the smartest guys I know. He made over $260,000 last year just selling Lego. He does sell other toys and collectibles and whatnot. Paid off his student loans. I mean, he's working it over there. I like that set for a bunch of different reasons, and I can't believe that they're still on the shelf.
Yeah.
It's Mando's rookie card. It is nobody cares about that in Lego, but baseball card people, or maybe like Micro Machines. It was the first Pontiac Firebird that was released in whatever set. We tend to care a little bit more about that. Not so much in Lego. The two Clatonian Raiders are exclusive. The Cara Dune was exclusive. They released that in the Moff Gideon Light Cruiser set, which I'm kind of upset about. Not because they released the figure Cara Dune, but because in that scene, you have Cara Dune, you have Bo-Katan, Moff Gideon, Luke Skywalker comes blasting through the door right there. You have two Death Troopers, multiple Death Troopers. You only get one in the set. Maybe get rid of the Cara Dune, put in another Death Trooper. I thought that would have probably been a better fit for that set. But also, if you look at the history of the last ATST, again, Amazon and Camel, it was like a Rogue One set or a Han Solo set or something. It retailed for $40, which is what this set is now retailing for, even though it was a $50 set. It came with 3 minifigures. This set comes with 4, 2 of which are still exclusive. And by the way, the Moff Gideon Light Cruiser is like $150. The ATST Raider set is $40, so it's still the cheapest way to get the Cara Dune figure. It's Mando's rookie card. It's more pieces. It's the same price, as the older set. And that set peaked at about $130, $140 2 years after it retired. So, if this bad boy retires at the end of this year, which I think it will, because the new Mandalorian sets are out and they want to sell those, right? So let's get rid of some of the older sets. Within a year or two, that $40 set's probably going to be about $100. $100, is that feeding every homeless person? No, but is it 2.5 times your money? Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the sets are a great investment.
Yeah.
Like the Razor Crest, if you can find it. They skipped out on the minifigures on that one too. But the new sets, the Bad Batch set, it's the first set with the Bad Batch characters. The ship doesn't even fit all of the figures. That's why they gave it that neon green speeder bike, so you could put one of the Bad Batch figures on it. This one's the opposite. They give you a scout trooper that rides a speeder bike, but they don't give you a speeder bike build. So Lego has really figured out that the happy middle there, where we'll give you something but not everything. They're trying to cut costs too. So it's crazy. So what else are you picking up? You're picking up the Nerf, the Jadas, the Funkos. What else you got going on there?
There's a Ollie's that is opening up in a town closer than the closest one I can get to. I have to drive about 45 minutes to an hour to get to it, to get to one of the Ollies. But if I want to try and hit multiple ones, it's like an hour this way, and then 45 minutes that way, and then another hour this way. And now there's going to be one that's almost 20 minutes away from me. And they have some, I mean, like I find some great stuff at Ollie's now and again. So I'm excited to their grand opening is tomorrow. So I'm gonna go.
We have. I don't know if you watch my videos, but I talk about a store called Hobbies Galore. I picked up Gold 2 on the NES for $4 there last time. I don't know, maybe you heard of it. But right there by that Hobbies Galore, there is an Ollie's, but I've never been in it because I don't know what they sell. What do they sell? That's awesome.
Like, so basically, let me let's say that they've got like these cars here, the green light cars, and let's say that they manufactured this like 3 to 5 years ago. Well, they haven't sold them in a store in 4 or 5 years now, and it would have originally been like $6 or $7, and then they're selling them for like $250, and they've got just pallets of them. So I mean, like and you have no idea what they're gonna have in there. I mean, like, and it's not all toys. They do have a couple aisles that are toys, but
so they buy overstock like from Walmart,
and usually it's like dead inventory. Dead inventory that you haven't. You're like, how is this still even? Somebody has more of these. I did a video of those Johnny Lightning Star Trek spaceships, and they had those.
So fucking awesome. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like,
really awesome.
And they had those like $2, $3 a pop, and now some of them are going for like $50 depending on which one you're trying to find on eBay. And I was like, man, if I could have seen that, I mean, like, and I don't know, maybe somebody just bought that a year ago. I mean, because it's some of this stuff that they just buy up a warehouse and then whatever they've got, they just distribute it and sell it. I mean, so I think I just saw stuff for an Iron Man 3 action figure. And how long has it been since they made Iron Man 3? And then they had some Rogue One snap tight kits, and Rogue One was years ago. So
for sure. Let me look that up on the Bay real quick. Rogue One snap tight kit. Hello, Michael. Not found. Did I spell it wrong? Here's what sold in 2016, or they made by Rebel Star Wars Rogue One Rebel U-Wing Snap Tight model kit.
Yeah.
One sold for $325, but they charge $10 shipping. See how they kind of sneakily charge more? Because in the old days of eBay, they charged you off of the value, not the final value. So people would have like $100 item for, 99 cents plus $99 shipping, That's too funny. I'll have to check that out. It's next door to Hobbies Galore, which is a store that I visit frequently. And getting some really, really good deals there.
Actually, one of the things I did sell at the flea market was a comic that I bought at Ollie's the day before. It was one of those big, thick annuals or whatever, and the price was on the back of the comic, and it was probably 6 months, 18 months old, and the original price for it was like $34, and I picked it up for $8 and sold it for $20. I mean, I bought it, and the next day I had it out at that flea market, and more than doubled my money on it. And I kind of wish I would have bought two because I actually bought it to display. But then sometimes I'm like, I'll just set it out, see if I can make money on it, and if I can't, I bought it to display. I'll just keep it display. And it was a comic book that had a nice glossy finish on it, and it had Deadpool and Wolverine fighting on the front of the comic, and I was like, that was a cool comic right there.
Money,
So,
money. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna check if there's items. Like another strategy that I use sometimes is I call it underclipping. So if I find something that's like $3 at Ollie's, right, and it's like a $15 item, I'll throw it up for 10 plus shipping. Or when I go to like conventions or whatever or wherever people buy it, whatever, I will intentionally price it to where I think somebody's gonna walk up and go, "Man, I could buy this at this price and flip it."
yeah,
I get them in a buying mood. Hey, would you do better if I bought bulk? Yes, I would. How many would you like? You know what I mean? Because at that point, at $3, you sell it for $8. You're already making $5 a piece. They want to buy 10 of them. That's a $50 profit. If they ask for another $5 discount, are you going to turn down a $45 profit? You know what I mean? Like, well, you go ahead, man. And then they get this real pumped up feeling like they're walking away like, yeah, I scored. I got this guy. I'm going to go home. I'm going to sell. Okay, you go sell them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's crazy. You find any more of those $4 Lego sets? I left my number in the private chat. You text old CM Retro, and we'll work out some $4 Sith Trooper battle pack deals. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I honestly
do you need a Camaro Generation Series 5? I know you don't have one in your underground toy store there.
right. I was actually going to. You guys were on your live trade show for seemed like maybe 20 or 30 minutes before you actually made your first deal, and I almost jumped in and was trying. I was like, just for fun, like, okay, here's a small little deal. Like, I'm gonna offer you this or this. I want you to get me one of your silver bus sets, but I want you to sign it. CM Retro Gaming. Find them all, get them all.
Yeah, find them all, get them all, baby. Yeah.
So
trade show is a great event. If my second channel, the Toy Freaks, takes off, then I thought maybe we could do the same thing on that channel, but for toys, man. Hey, I got all this extra inventory. Is anybody interested in this? What do you got? You got some Nerf stuff? I got some Micro Machine stuff for some Star Wars Black Series stuff. Maybe we can kind of work something out. But yeah, the trade show is great. It always goes long. It takes a little while for everybody to sort of kind of warm up, and oh man, I gotta let it go. Just let it go. People hold on too tight to some of these video games,
yeah.
And then usually when Rob Mitchell and Hav get there, it turns into I got a $500 game, and it's like nobody's trading for a $500 game, bro. Yeah, it turns into a show me fest. But at 4 hours, we're all done anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you guys have down in Columbus? Do you have any toy like flea market-y kind of things where it's basically that's what people are there to sell and trade and that kind of thing? Or
we have what's called the South High Street Flea Market. It's an old drive-in movie theater, man. And what's funny is back in the 90s, they used to show like let's say Saturday night, late night adult type movies. And because of the way the screens were facing the freeway, you'd see the image in reverse on the screens. So people would stop on the freeway and pull over, and watch these adult movies in reverse. So they shut that down. It's a flea market now. It's one of those flea markets, man, that they open at like 5:00 in the morning.
yeah.
By the time I get over there and it's like 7:30, there's really nothing there. The rest of the flea markets that we have in our area, I will say they're professional vendors. They're professional resellers. That's how they make their living. We're going to Heath Flea Market on Sunday. Now Brian will give us some good deals. but you're not going to find dollar games there that are, $20-$30 games.
Yeah. Well, some of these people at this flea market that I was at, I just couldn't even hardly believe, like, how did you, I mean, like, what you brought, how did you justify spending $65 for a booth space when you're, I mean, like, you've got like 300 mugs, coffee mugs that you're selling for 25 cents each. I mean, like, I'm like, you must have a lot of inventory in a trailer out back that you're expecting to move. I mean,
at 25 cents each, $65, that's 130. You have to sell 260 mugs at 25 cents each just to break even.
right. I mean,
And that's not the guy that's like, would you take $1 for 5? Because you're like, yeah, you're gonna take it. You know.
So I mean, the one guy, my one neighbor was a guy who was selling knives, and the other guy had books. Just like, I mean, I think he bought 3 booth spaces at $65 a pop, and I mean, like, he had just tables laid out, and he was selling books. And I mean, this guy was neat to listen to, because he'd be like, who do you like to read? And then they would say, and he's like, okay, well, this author is really similar. Have you ever heard of them? No, let me take you to their books over here. And he could, I mean, you could just name an author and a book, and he would tell you exactly where it was in his thousands of books he had laid out. I was like, man, this dude, and it's what, I mean, like, and he's like, I got to pack up and head to the next one 2 hours away. And I was like, that's just what you're retired, and that's what you do at this point, isn't it? I mean, it's just, I'm like, you almost, it has to be a hobby, because you couldn't possibly have sold enough books to pay for all that space that you rented. I mean,
yeah, that's crazy town.
But
that's crazy town. I mean, get a booth. You're paying $65. Again, Coach Edwards. I love Coach Herm Edwards, man. Coaches at Arizona State. Played for the Eagles. Coached the Jets. That kind of thing. And he always says, a goal without a plan is a wish. What is your goal? I'm going to spend $65. I'm going to buy this booth. I'm going to make $3,000 today. That's my goal. Okay, well, great. What's your plan? How are you going to get there? You're not going to do it selling 25-cent mugs. It's just not going to happen. There's not enough hours in the day. Like we talked about earlier, if your clientele that is visiting the flea market is looking to spend $20 or less, how many of the items in your inventory at the flea market accommodate those type of spenders?
Right.
So
the one thing that I did have going for me was there was probably between 200 and 300 booths. And from what I could see as I was, I mean, like, so I had someone that would sit and watch my booth as I went and kind of scouted out what was going on. And there were, of those 200 to 300 booths, there were less than 10 people that had any form of toy. I mean, like, whether it was used or new. I mean, so I was like, if you've got some set of grandparents that are just watching the grandkids for the day, drug them along, and yeah, we'll get you a $5 thing or a $10 thing. Maybe I'd start moving some stuff that way. And I think I might have made a couple sales that way. But I mean, and to me, I price things where I want to sell them. I don't overprice them, hoping to if they talk me down from 50 down to 40, I only have 30 in it anyway. Basically, I'm like, I bought it for $20 and I'd like to sell it for $20. I'm not making a dime off of it. I just got to use it, enjoy it. And I mean, it's in the same shape that I bought it in. So, I mean, and in some cases, I think that some of the stuff I buy and then try and sell. I bought there was an action figure of the Dread Pirate Roberts from Princess Bride, that movie. Yeah. And that was
one of my top 5 movies of all time.
$14 action figure that I bought for $80, and now it's like $150, $200 when you can find them on eBay. And most of them, the packaging is all beat to crap, and mine's in really good shape. But a lot of the times I don't even I think I can get more out of it if I price it higher, because the market's there, because I'm in such a small pond, so to speak, of trying to sell stuff, that I'm going to be lucky to find somebody like me that was willing to pay what I paid for it just so I can move it and free up that money to put back into something else. But so I moved a few things. But another thing is that, I mean, like, and I don't think that I was prepared for this. I should have, because I've done garage sales so much. But how many people are just like, just walk by, pick up this, set it in a different place. And I mean, and I've got everything set up just so it's presented nice and it looks good. And I'm like, that's a $30 item right there. If your 8-year-old kid is gonna move it, I'm hoping that you're gonna buy it if he breaks it. And I mean, like, there were a few people that were like, hey, don't touch anything. Look with your eyes and don't touch anything. And I appreciated that. But when you've got kids that are trying to figure out, well, how does this Nerf gun shoot anyway? And I mean, I'm like, I don't really want to have to chase down all this ammunition because you were curious. Or I had a Nerf roundhouse that I bought real cheap, and I thought I'll just move it. And I think I had like 3 or 4 kids jam the gun up trying because it was a rival, so it's a little harder prime. And they would get it back so far, but they couldn't get it forward, and then they just set it back down. And I had to try and unjam the thing after their failed attempt at trying to prime the thing. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are just
man. I can't
moving stuff around, and so. But
yeah, I totally. I it's not in my DNA to have that kind of patience. You know what I mean? Like, hey, dude, that's a $30 item. You gotta buy that. But I totally would like see some grandparents and be like, hey, you want to buy your grandkids something cool for Christmas? Come on over. They like Nerf, they like diecast cars.
Yeah.
And then I'd sell them something or bundle a couple things and give them a little bit of discount so they feel like they're getting a good deal. You know what I mean?
Well, and the guy next to me that was selling the swords, he's like, you're really, he said your prices aren't bad, but you're in a bad kind of like niche, because he said my stuff is all brand new. He said, and your stuff is unused, sealed in a package, but it's not something that is like, it's old inventory and it's collectible stuff. He said, and although you're not out of line for some of the things you're asking, you're pricing it. He said, most people are looking for deals. He said, I don't get people that are trying to talk me down. They see that I have 10 of these brand new swords for $20. They don't try and get me down to 15. They just, it is what it is. But they see your stuff and they're like, I bet I can get this guy to come down from some of his prices because this is a flea market and you're not going to get that kind of price from it. So he's like, you're just in a weird spot where it is brand new, but it's not new inventory and people are looking for deals. So they don't want to buy a $100 Millennium Falcon that you'd have to spend $164 on eBay. They want it for $20. Because I had several people that are like, it's $100, and I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh. And I was like, if it was $30, it would have been gone in the first 20 minutes. I mean, like it's priced under what it's worth on eBay. So I mean, now you could argue, well, if they're selling it for $160 on eBay, 60 of it could be shipping because of how big it is. I mean, it was just monstrous.
If it's free shipping, and it probably wouldn't be that because eBay fees are 11.5% plus a 30-cent transaction fee, and then it's done by weight. So if it was packed properly, the Star Wars Millennium Falcon may weigh 7 pounds, 8 pounds if it was bubble wrapped in a box. So you're looking at like $22. So 16, this is called 17. So you're looking at like $40 in fees, so about $120-ish is what the person would make a profit on.
Yeah.
eBay.
So, but all right, well, we're closing in on 2 hours here, so I think we'll end the live stream. I do have a quick question for you after that if you've got time, but
yeah, absolutely.
Got 2 watchers. I don't know if that's you and me watching our own live stream, but if it's not you and me and there are 2 people actually watching and they've stayed this long, kudos to you. Hope you enjoyed it. And
lurkers,
we'll see you guys on the next live stream.